Well rising to you all. A wise one once said, a man or woman who uses force is afraid of reasoning. Let that sink in for a moment. Keyword, afraid. When presented in this fashion, it actually presents a conundrum for how we may think about fighting. When we think about fighting, or we think about war, the word courage is actually usually applied, meaning you have to be courageous to go out into the battlefield. You have to be courageous to go out and face your enemy. You have to be courageous in order to lay your life on the line for your ideals, to live for something and to die for it. Now, there are some truths within those statements based on the complexity and the context from which they are used. However, many of us simply wash over fighting and link it to courage for every situation. When honestly, in regard to wisdom, in regard to spiritual thinking, in regard to honoring the earth and the source of all things, and honoring our humanity, fighting is actually an expression of fear. How so? It is because we can entertain the fear of being wrong, the fear of being misunderstood, the fear that the way we may see the world will disappear. And so we have to really look within ourselves and see the conflicts that we may have. Because conflict doesn't just exist between a person and another person who may disagree. Many of us have conflicts within ourselves, which is the focus of this. Many of us are fighting wars every single day of flight and fight, of holding back in fear or leaping forward in faith, of courageously going with our true identity or fighting that and holding it back based on what people may think. We are always at war because we are usually in fear of our authentic self. Now that can be very, very troublesome for some people because many of us don't think that we're afraid. Many of us are so hyper intellectual, we can reason our way out of doing certain things. We put fashionable labels on them and big words. When the truth of the matter is, if you were able to reason yourself into a situation, you could reason your way out of it. There was a reason why you got into a conflict with your inner self. And that same reason will be the one that you must embrace and discuss within your own consciousness in order to shut the fear off and stop the fight that holds you back. So, what are you forcing and repressing within yourself now? What is it within you that you know you want to do, but you allow fear to force you to sit still? Who is it that you really want to be? Or what is it that you really want to try, but fear forces you to not go do it? Today is an invitation for you to address that conflict. Today is an invitation for you to end that war. Today is an invitation for you to find the courage to go forth into the world in authenticity. So one may ask, well, how do I do that? You look within and you face it and you reason with it. And how do you reason with something? You have a conversation. Yes, talk to yourself. You're already crazy enough to limit yourself, so you might as well be crazy enough to talk to yourself and see why you've placed that limit. And once you have that discussion with your inner self, with your subconscious mind, meaning going into meditation, being still, in seeing why you may feel a certain way about something and discussing it, if you keep the conversation open in your meditation and then be ready for responses when you go out into the world, you will eventually come into an answer, or you will actually find a new reason for you to actually do what you want to do, as opposed to hanging on to the old reasons of why you won't do it at all. It's all about how you communicate with yourself. And once you learn to communicate with yourself with grace, you will actually establish more courage. And when you establish more courage into the world, you will actually raise up the conflict within others who will be inspired to do the same for themselves. Here is our affirmation. Come, let us reason together as brother and sister again. Come have a seat at my table and receive the offering I have prepared for you. Come taste the meal of gratitude I have for you and savor the flavor. Come and drink the wine of friendship and embrace the spirit of family. Come and embrace me and let us share our secrets. Come and be unafraid, for I receive you. Come, let us reason together and be brother and sister again. This is your reminder to self. Blessings.